Hi, I'm Peggy Kelly, and this is Good Morning Santa Paula. It's Thursday, August 12th, and with us today is our education update, actually. We've got Jeffrey Weinstein, who is the superintendent of the Santa Paula Unified School District, and school started yesterday, hooray. So welcome, and let us know what's about the first day of school, which was yesterday, August 11th.
Yeah, so very exciting. I got to go out, as well as the board of the trustees and a lot of our leadership team went out to all the sites to welcome parents and students back, and there was a lot of positive energy. And you have to remember that even in the elementary schools, some of the kindergartners and first graders, this was the first time them being on site because they had spent the last couple of years in long distance learning. So it was a lot of newness for a lot of people, but the staff and teachers were incredibly excited to have the students back. Parents were incredibly excited that their students were now actually going to school and seeing their friends and being able to interact and socialize. And we did a lot of welcome back special themes at all the different sites. And I visited the middle school as well as our high schools, and everybody seemed to be very, very excited about, the fact that we are starting to get back to some sort of normalcy. Even with this spike in the Delta variant, there is still the warmth or just the home knowledge that things are better, things are getting better, and we are still headed towards a positive place. And I think the schools played a huge role in a community about that, bringing back the community normalcy, bringing everybody back together, and giving us a chance to really be a community again. So we were very excited. Just to remind our community out there, we do follow all the COVID protocols. We are mandated that indoors our students and staff wear masks. That's very important for us. We do have screening going on. It's an inactive screening process where we do look for any signs of students or staff having any signs of the virus, and we immediately do a full screening protocol with them. We're really hoping that we don't have to get any more strict with that. During lunches, we divide up our students between outdoor sitting areas, classrooms, and the cafeteria, so they're spaced very wide, because while you eat, you do take your mask off. All the teachers are being really good about continually reminding the students, and because the youngins, as we like to call them, are not used to wearing the mask all day, we do a lot of activities outside. We bring them outside so they can take their mask off, so they can get a little bit of relief from them before we go back inside. So the process we're using is very good, it's popular, and and so far we've only gotten super positive feedback from parents and staff about how things are going. And the funny part is that when I go around and say, well, how things go today, everybody, parents, students, as well as staff say unusually smooth. So everybody had this build up in their mind about how crazy it was going to be. And now, actually doing it, they see it's not that bad and everything's going pretty well. So we're very, very excited about what's going on.
I am too. And I think that's such a great idea to have the kids go outside. And I think you'd said before that you would actually have them do maybe a lesson outside and then go back, so they'll have regular breaks, not from studying or from school, but from sitting in a classroom with a mask on. And that's
right. And we have designed some outdoor classrooms. So they sit at picnic benches, but we actually bring the whiteboards out and we do lessons outside as long as the weather holds up. And we have beautiful weather here in Santa Paula, so it's going to be available to us for a long time to be able to go outside and do lessons outside.
And enrollment is looking good.
Enrollment's looking especially well. So, over the last few years, we've had declining enrollment. Really, it's just, aging population within Santa Paula. The young families are coming back, though. We have a lot of new developments and, growth in our schools is strong. So we're up about 7-8%. So our enrollment's about a little over 5,200 right now. And we're expecting that it'll keep it growing till the end of August. Usually we see by the end of August, we top out in enrollment. We're still getting a lot of new enrollees. We have an online enrollment system now. So we have a lot of enrollments in process within the system that we can look at. And we're real excited about the coming year because of that increased enrollment. It shows that families are moving to Santa Paula, young families, new generations coming to our schools, and we're real excited.
Oh, that's great. And of course, like you said, you have a lot of COVID protocols, and that includes the cleaning and the this and the that, and, not only the mask thing. Now, also now you've got the independent long distance learning. Let's talk about that.
I think that's real important to kind of go over because, what happens a lot of times, the legislative bodies, they create laws and they create opportunities to do things differently, to take care of a situation. But a lot of these laws are not long-term. So the type of synchronous instruction that went on during COVID protocols is no longer available. We have to go back to the old style of long distance learning, which we call independent study. It's where teachers meet for either an hour a day or an hour every 3 days or an hour every week, depending on the age of the student, assign a number of packets of homework. The homework is turned in at the end of the week, and they're given credit for the homework as well as attendance for the entire week because they're at home actually working on those packets. The meetings with the teachers can happen over Zoom, over the internet, or they can be in person. But what ends up happening is, parents hear about long distance learning, they envision what we did during COVID, and then we come in, and after learning the new independent study rules that the California Department of Education has for us, they realize that, what we've known all along and what almost everybody understands is that face-to-face instruction is far superior than long distance learning. And that if you have a choice and you don't have an illness or you're not vulnerable in some way where you can't actually have face-to-face instruction, you should be at our sites, and things are going much well. So we, along with our just regular students that are in independent study instruction, and a lot of those students are there because of, they have an illness, they have a disability, a temporary disability, a long-term disability, or they could be actors, working out of the city on sets and stuff, and they have special circumstances. So above that number, we've only seen about 12 or 13 additional families join the independent study program, and they're going to try it out for a month and see how it goes. And if not, they'll go back to, and if it doesn't really work for them, they'll go back to face-to-face instruction. We're also supporting our 3 local feeder school districts, Mupu, Briggs, and Santa Clara. Their students who need independent study we're helping them out and allowing them in our independent study program. So they'll remain students of that district, but they'll actually be working with our independent study teachers.
Okay, now, so before when they had the long distance learning due to COVID, it would be a classroom setting per se, and they would have many faces on the screen. Isn't that usually how it was in the team?
Yeah. And so you'd have a classroom of 24 up on the screen. Teachers would spend anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 hours, depending on the type of class it was and the age group. And they would work with the students and actually teach like if you're sitting in the classroom, except you're sitting at home and you're watching the teacher online. This is a lot different. The most time is about 60 minutes at any particular meeting. The youngest kids get 60 minutes per day for all week long. The oldest kids that are in high school get 1 hour a week. So there's a lot of difference in work systems.
But then they've got a lot of homework.
They have a lot of assignments. So really self-discipline, parents helping them out, and then working throughout the week to finish the packet. On the following week, they turn the packet in, they get credit for all their work, and they're shown as being positive attendance. Okay,
interesting. But of course, that hinges on successfully completing the assignments as well.
Correct, exactly. And there's a lot, it's almost like homeschooling to a certain extent. And we do have hotlines, the supports are there if a student is struggling on any particular issue, but at the same time, it doesn't replace face-to-face instruction.
Well, I will be curious also to see how that goes after a month, and how many decide to come back to school if they're able to,
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So, what other support systems do you have going there at the district for?
So, we realized that there was learning loss over long distance learning, that not all children were 100% successful with the long distance learning, and say a second grader coming into third grade may not be at the reading level that they should, or just, things like that. So we hired 17 teachers that are support specialists. that are
Oh,
literally divided up among our elementary school and our middle school to work with students that are falling behind or that are struggling with the standards and the concepts that they should have learned, the previous year and going into the next year. So we have 2 or 3 at every single site. And what they do is they're continually looking at students that are identified by the teacher that need some extra help, and they work with those students. And so that's a lot of instructors. And then at the high school, we have something called Cyber High, where is an actual tutoring and learning program. And students can sign up for a 0 period or a 7th period after school. So they could actually have an extra period where they go in and they're actually getting tutored, or they're actually taking courses, and that there are teachers actually in the classroom to facilitate it and also give them help throughout their time. In addition to that, we know that, a lot of socialization and emotional issues happened while they were away, as well as coming back. You've seen, some of the most interesting thing is I'll see a student coming back yesterday that was a little distraught about coming back. And you assume that it's because it's their first time being on that campus. They're a new student, but a lot of them are just returning. They had been there before and they're returning, and they're just anxious about the whole thing, whether it's about COVID or just about being with other people again. And so we have mental health specialists along with our academic counselors. Every site has 1 or 2 mental health counselors that are there to work with the kids, meet the kids, give them some help with being back at school. And then, if they need long-term type help, or you need to talk to somebody over long term, we refer them out to outside sources that also are free to the community that will be able to help them. So we're not only looking at the academic supports, but we're also looking at the social emotional supports that are there. And those will be going on not just this year. We're looking to have them permanently from now on.
oh yeah. Well, it was very traumatic. And I mean, and for children, it was traumatic. For adults, we've been through a very traumatic time. And, and the kids especially were, ripped away from their comfort zone, I mean, so, and bless their hearts. I'm sure, I'm glad that there's so much there for them. So that's a very good sign. That's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm depressed, but I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Well, we're back. The good news is we're back. High school sports are going strong. I saw the article in the SP Times where you saw all the kids working out, great pictures. We have our football games coming up. We have a lot of rallies, pep rallies coming up. We have a lot of sports band, a lot of programs going on. The kids are real excited. We have those programs. We have music programs going on at the elementary school. At the middle school, we have a number of programs going on. We're working closely with the Boys and Girls Club in order to make sure that we, have some synergy between everything, so all the kids are taken care of. Every single one of our elementary school sites have Aspire, which is our ACES after school program, enrichment programs. So, we're really looking to not only take care of the kids during the day, during school hours, but also extended hours to make sure they have something to do and it's enriching and, really developing themselves and getting them back to having some fun, not be stuck at home and being out there and having a lot of fun. And so we're really excited about that.
That's great. Yeah, because kids, they do bounce back. They're very resilient. So
yes, they are.
They really are. And so, well, that's quite a bit going on. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just one other thing. Just recently, yesterday, we heard the governor announce that school employees are now mandated to either have been vaccinated or that they are to be tested weekly. So we've been getting a lot of questions about that. And so I thought, we might as well address that. So we have until October 15th to be in compliance with that new mandate. However, we'll be in compliance much before that. We should be in compliance by the middle of September. We already have our testing set up for our teachers who are not. I'm very happy to say that the vast majority of our staff is vaccinated. So there'll only be a few that if they decide to stay, unvaccinated, then they'll need to do the testing, but we're all set up for that. There's no problems, and our unions endorse that. So I think that, our community shouldn't worry, that our teachers understand that it's the rules, and, rules change all the time for us in education, right? It's always changing. And our teachers are always so flexible and gracious about, following the rules, and the district office is supporting them, and we're going to have everything set up and ready to go. And we should be in full compliance by the middle of September.
Great. Well, I'm really glad to hear it. Well, we appreciate you stopping by today and
Thank you.
catching us up, and because it is very important, especially with them going back on campus, that the first day of school, and they
Absolutely.
haven't had a first day of school like this for a year, well over a year. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, that's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today once again, and I want to call them from you. So
Absolutely. I will put something together for you. No worries.
okay, I see it's on film now, so you're.
That's right. You have it on record, so I can't get
Yeah,
out.
I've got a record. Yeah, and you saying yes, so I've got that now. So
There
it's
you
all
go.
there. So everybody out there, once again, this is Peggy Kelly. Our guest today was Jeffrey Weinstein, and he's the superintendent of the Santa Paula Elementary School District. And school started yesterday, and that's just wonderful news. And we got a lot of reassurances here. So if you would like to watch this, thank you so much. If you would like to watch this, you can watch kadytv.com, or Channel 10 plays it. I imagine the school district might have a link for it. And be sure to watch and learn a lot about what's going on with the children in the schools in Santa Paula. We appreciate your watching us, and we will see you soon. Have a wonderful weekend, and everybody be very COVID careful. Thanks so much. Thanks again, Jeffrey.